Hello, football lovers. Welcome to MyOgba Football Fantasy, where we discuss the beautiful game of football that has brought us all love and joy across the world. And for the past few weeks, we have been talking about the Uefa Champions League that has brought us a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and a lot of interesting moments. It is the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, and it is the return leg, where Inter Milan will be hosting Barcelona after an incredible display at Montjuic that had them share the spoils at 3-3. And Arsenal, yes, but PSG will be posting Arsenal after winning away 1-0. Now, let us talk about the first leg. How did they get there? Firstly, Inter Milan, Barcelona. Perhaps what was the most interesting knockout game so far had both teams going blow for blow in an equally matched contest that ended 3-3. Mr. Basics,
Yes, Mr. Obasa.
in one word, describe that bit. In one word, please.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Do you think it can do better than fantastic to still see?
Well, I would say I'll go with the word I will. One glass of a deacon.
Now, we will be delving into the tactics, the approach, the substitution, and definitely the goals. I'm not doing this alone. My name is Olusola Obasa. I have the player on my right, Mr. Bassett, and on my left, Victor Asi. So, Inter Milan saw the deadlock broken at 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds. I think that's perhaps the earliest period in the Champions League season.
Yes.
Do you think that had anything to do with the grit or the tactic or the hunger of the team? Or perhaps the defensive slap by Barcelona's side? At the Spanish.
Yeah, you can say defensive slack, but also Inter Milan's brilliance actually, and that got them into the game to go for another goal, and they got the second goal. And even not for Yamal's brilliance to get one back, and we talked about Yamal, we talked about him the first leg, even like almost all over this competition. His brilliance is just the boy is out of this world. So the early goal gave Inter a very good edge to the game, approaching the game well with more confidence and approaching. And the last one I talked about the absence of Lewandowski, that they are going to feel it, but at least it was an even match for both sides.
And Mr. Malassi, like Mr. Bassett said, a goal did give Inter Milan the spur to wait for the second goal that saw them score at the 30 overhead kick of Dunkirk.
Yeah.
That beats Roger Chesney and Bruce about the head up.
Rafinha, yes, Rafinha.
As at this point, would you have said Inter Milan had it in the back? While you're watching it, as a Chile, did you have said, nah, Inter Milan?
No, not at all. Because looking at what Barcelona is capable of, it is still very much an open game, and you'd always expect Barcelona to at least go for the middle groove. So
I never Barcelona overturned a two-goal that is it more than 4 times this season. That's speaking a lot of, I don't know, mentality.
of course, that's the basic truth, because when you have a coach that has this belief and he knows his players, and the players believe they could always get the goal. Even their last week game, at a point they were actually trailing Valladolid, and before you know it, with the introduction of Yama and Rafia, they came from behind and won the game. So that's just to tell us the kind of mentality that is in the Barcelona's setup. Even if they are very much behind, they have the belief that, okay, as long as they are together, they are compact, they could always go for good. So that's why an opponent that is playing against Barcelona should always have it at the back of their mind that, except the final whistle is blown, they should expect the unexpected from Barcelona.
And that is true. Barcelona has done repeatedly, but we did expect Inter Milan's side to put up the defensive pros, which they did to try. Intervals, we saw Inter Milan defending with about 9 men inside their box, but somehow with the brilliance of certain players like Lamine Yamal and the display of Pedri, you saw that defensive setup being double. Would you say this was a tactical effort or one of the I have a big gun in my arsenal and I can use it? So would you say Asepluk had a tactical setup to break Inter Milan's defense, or he was just lucky to have the player like only Yamal?
No. You have to give it to us a flick. And talking about Barcelona, you're always talking about it with the glow in your face. But don't let us go there. Don't let us go there, man. So, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the rest. So let's go. Let's move on.
So yes, we have to give it to us a flick. If we look at the apart from the qualities of some players you can think of, look at the team. They are young players. Most of them played under Xavi, but they weren't as brilliant as this. Look at them, Kubrasi, Fermin, Lopez. We talked about him in the last game too. So if you look at the introduction of all these players and what they are given, you know that it has to be down to the manager, apart from their own individual brilliance also. Then you having Yamal is a gift. And Rafinha was they wanted to sell Rafinha at the end of last season. And for him to be having this kind of season, that's over 50 goal contribution already this season. That's fantastic. It's a world class display. So I give it to Asiflik. We give it to Asiflik. To say I mean your mality give this labiness and you do also that certification. He is a blessed. Another blessing that Barcelona have been blessed with is someone who has not been sold well enough in the place of Ferran Torres. Now we saw Lewandowski take a break from injury. Yeah, they're out the past year. But Ferran Torres doesn't seem to have missed his step in stepping into the big boots of Demati Lewandowski. We saw him score the equalizer. Yeah, as I gave, I think, man, he's a brilliant position. I mean, sure, go so far. Gives him only a half what it takes to kill dark space, milk way well that going to the San Siro in Italy. The good set.
Okay, thank you very much. I am not surprised at the level Ferran Torres.
All right, the pen. No, all right, no thank you there.
So I am not actually surprised in the sense that um, Lewandowski as a player, we don't really have much players that could actually fill in or like a direct replacement for Lewandowski. So for Torres to be doing what he's doing, it shows that he's a very, very good player. And if not for the presence of Lewandowski, he probably would have had much impact in that Barcelona's team. Exactly.
All right, let's talk about Inter Milan. Inter Milan saw Dumfries provide perhaps one of the greatest display of individual performance. Yeah. He had one assist. He assisted Thuram's early goal and two goal. A beautiful scissor kick and a header over the mighty Araujo. So was it? No, it was Omo. Actually, no, it was Araujo. Yeah, okay, Araujo. That was the penalty. Now, would you say he's going to? Would you say this was luck? Keep in mind, both of Dumfries though came from set pieces that Barcelona has been known to be beating is over the past few games. Would you say this was luck or it was grit and skill? I'll go with grit and skills because he has scored like 6 goals this season already. So scoring goals as a right back, so as a wing back. So we've known him to be very attacking and also very strong. So and Inter Milan are good with set piece. We all know that, and the way they defend. So I'm not surprised he got the goal. His performance that day was actually much more than. But I'm not surprised because I've seen him do that. So it's down to his skills and individual brilliance. Yeah.
All right, perhaps bias will have pitches at the 100 but if I were to put bias aside, I may give a two with another.
Yeah. Now let us go to San Siro. What will really be expected? Inzaghi will be posting Hansi Flick in a must-win match to see a steer or the hopes to see his team reach the final. The first team to qualify for the finals of this year's Uefa Champions League. Knowing Inzaghi's tactic, knowing he's a defensive player, which be the coin fair, it gets this question. Mr. Bassett, yes, would you say Inzaghi is going to defend or come all out? He's going to stick with his tactics. He's going to defend and still get on his on the counter and his set face. He has the wing backs like Dumfries display we saw is capable of it. DiMarco is also capable of that. He can score, he assists. So and they like I always said, they have the players who hold the ball. They can retain it. They play with strength. You have Canalogo, Barella, Mkhitaryan. If not the ruled out goal of Mkhitaryan, they could have had a one goal advantage to the game. So
he believes in the statics. It's been working for him. Even their last league game, he rested his players, still retained the same formation and still played the same way. So different players, same formation. So I don't think you want to risk it. You still take it and still bet on his counter attack and set piece.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, a couple of questions to you, Salasi. First question is DiMarco. DiMarco. We saw DiMarco is like desperately eventually America. Do you think this will affect his confidence going with you, Mr. Barra? Knowing that we will be facing the same America. Oh, we thought on the spa. Second, this is the settle crutch. Do you agree with him? That there is a vision. See Papa people that takes for gypsies all the time.
For the first question, I would say there are a couple of players that no matter how much you try, we can't really get them out of the game. And that's what Yamal is turning into. You can only try your best, but however, in the without prime side, exactly. So they would always have that. Although there are times that they would have a very good game and they would stop such players. But most times they always have difficulties trying to, have these players will stop these players with exceptional talents. And that's what Yama is. The rate is growing. In fact, he has been outstanding to even say the least. So I would expect him to have a good game in this 300 as well. And for DiMarco, you should just expect another tough encounter with him. So talking about the second question, well, if you are going toe to toe with Barcelona, I feel they are going to punish such things. But for Inter Milan, they've proven that as a team, they could, be very defensive. And if they need to get the goals, they could get the goals. Although most people feel maybe they are just a defensive setup teams. But that's far from the truth, as we've witnessed their performance against Bayern Munich and getting 3 goals against Barcelona. I feel not everything can actually boast of that. So getting 3 goals is enough confidence for them that if they need to get the goals in the return leg, of course, they have the players. They are not reliant on a single player, but they have the players. The last match, they got 2 goals from a defender. And if they need to, get goal this time around as well, they have a couple of players. They have Tanroglu. They have midfielders that could take shot from any midfield position. So just it should retain the same formation that has gotten the team this far. So there's no need to tweak or try to, play to the strength or weakness of Barcelona. Just go with the team and you should expect that all his players would have the big game. Then they stand the chance.
All right, one last question, Dr. Basi, before we take our audacious predictions. Martinez. That's how we Martinez.
Melo, but yes. How do you see this affects it on the inside, knowing that their leader is what men do, but they're this far? Home very, very close to able to travel. Yes, and now must seem to be fighting for their lives and offers. Yes. They love Martinez. They should affect me more well with it.
Yeah. I think it's really bit not having. Yeah, we're not sure whether he's going to play, or he might likely not play because he's an upspring injury and it takes 2-3 weeks. So unless they want to force him, and it might injure him more. So I think it will affect the bit, but I think they still have players, but they don't have the player like Lautaro. He has 8 goals already in the Champions League. Terami is old, but he's a late bloomer. He came on, he did well, but not like Lautaro. Lautaro can hold the ball, can move the ball. There's passes, then his leadership qualities also. So he's going to actually have an effect, and it can actually work to our advantage too, because it will give Barcelona's defense a rest that, okay, one player down. Like I said about Lewandowski and Ferran Torres, he lived up to the expectation, and when you learn from the best, you can become the best. So
They be dating Lewandowski.
yes, he wants to play. Actually, he said he wants to play, wants to risk it all for Barcelona in this second leg. He's in training with Barcelona, so we're likely to see Lewandowski play, which is another advantage for Barcelona.
All right, audacious state, Mr. Wasi, you are the only person who seem to sing your fight off at the very brainy. you're casing in on what your prediction there. Are you still sticking to with that Arsenal and that below agree with so the like you had in the pie?
Yes, I'm still sticking to my initial.
Well, with that base there, putting Barcelona at the W East of this. Yes, and it's that. What would you say this are?
No, well, I my stake is.
Let me ask if this are okay. You've already given Mars baby. Overall, how many goals do you think you scored? Bits about.
Well, at the end of the game, 2-1 scoreline.
They win more. All right. Do not do that. No. The locals. Be back. Okay, well, no problem. And no problem. Would you give Barcelona the edge, or you give Inter Milan the pair?
I'll give Inter Milan the edge.
Well, that's a bold statement. You also would want to predict a draw. I think you predicted.
Yes, they draw. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there we are. This we have brought to you all we can in anticipation for the UCL semi-final game in San Siro. My name still remains Showdown, and signing out.